Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome. Let me make it live. Let me make it live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's another Tuesdays with Terrence, and I'm so excited. Let me go make this post live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. Let's make it public. Let's make it public. Let me make it public. Let me make it public. Let me make it public. Hold on. Let's see. Let's make sure. Let's make sure it's public. I want to make sure it's public. It should be public, but let's double check. Let's double check. Let's double check. I think it's public. How are you doing? How are you doing? Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is H. Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui. And some people call me Little Boy. That's little boy. Going all the way back to the 767. Whitey Kubuli, the Commonwealth of Dominica. Let's make it public. Let's make it public. Okay, now it's public. Now it's public. Welcome, welcome everybody to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is H. Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. And some people call me what? Luku boy. Even call me Mr. Bardui. Going all the way back to the 767. Whitey Kubuli, the Commonwealth of Dominica. Dominica made me. Boston raised me. Now the South sustains me. Man, I don't know what you guys been doing all weekend, but I'm in the Big Apple and I'm lit. I'm having a great time. Let's just, as people start to come in, let's see who's coming into the live so we can say a little shout out to them in a second. Let's see who's coming in. Tabitha Green is there, our business partner in the DMV. Good evening, Tabitha Green. How are you doing? We have a very special guest tonight. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing well. So while we're waiting for people to come in, what I'm going to do is I will go and play a little song. Let me get you guys up and at it. That same song I like to play all the time. Man, I may switch it up for you guys. I might play a little reggae for you. I might switch it up. What am I going to play? You know what? Should I play that? Yeah, let me put a little Jamaican music on. You know what? This is not for my special guest. This is just for me. All right? So here it goes. Martin, Don't cheat on me. You don't choose this with Terrence. Cheat on you while you catch me. You better you left me. I say you forgive me, then turn around on me. I got a slate of shake brain. Just there. Cannot be calm with weak means. Say you forgive this and not cheat. And then you tell me you love me. Me know say you never love me. Trust me. I mean I ain't no bun fi bun. So if you ever give me no bun, be done. Hey, listen, let me stop this Jamaican reggae stuff because my special guest tonight, I want to bring him in a second. But welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is H. Terrence Bardui. I have a very special guest tonight. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui. Some people call me Little Boy. That's little boy going all the way back to the 767. Whitey Kubuli, tall as her body, the Commonwealth of Dominica. Dominica made me. Boston raised me. Now the South sustains me. This is Tuesdays with Terrence. I hope you had a great weekend. School is back in session. We just had Labor Day yesterday. It's September, and September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. And I am so excited for tonight. I'm in the Big Apple, all right, guys? So you might hear a plane going by. You might hear a train. You might hear some people yelling outside. It's the big city, the Big Apple, all right? For those of you who don't know much about the Big Apple, everything go down in the Big Apple. So I'm excited. I'm here. I want to give a special shout out tonight. And the first person I want to give a shout out to is my great niece, Miss Sydney. I've taken over her room. Her room is my studio now. Since I got up here for work, she's been more than a gracious host. I want to thank, my mom, Blanche, my beautiful niece. I want to thank Mr. Wendell Charles, I mean, Aiden, my great nephew. I want to thank Mr. Majid, my great nephew. I want to thank my sister, Ernestine Peltier, as well, and even Cordell. Everybody's here and they're allowing me to take over their house in the big city because it's Life Insurance Awareness Month. I was not on Eastern Parkway yesterday shaking my pampalam. I was not doing that. So don't come at me and ask me, was I shaking my pampalam? I got my, that's not a cooler. It's coconut water. Coconut water. Tonight, I got a very, very, very special guest. All right. And let me just see, just before I bring on my special guest, right? Let's check markets today. For those of you who like investing in securities, let's see what happened in the markets today. Let's quick look. The Dow Jones is in the red. The Nasdaq in the red. The S&P in the red. I ain't gonna tell you about it because guess what? My clients sleep like this. They don't care if the market is up or down. When it's up, they participate in the gains of the market. When it's down, zero is the hero, so they never lose. That's what makes me the great Terrence Bardui. I'm the safe money guy. Tonight, I got a very special guest. I'm going to hype him up in a minute, right? But what you guys need to know real quickly, just before I bring him in, we got to play our theme song. Because remember, we always talk about you don't have to be a star to be on my show. You don't have to have 1 million to be on my show, right? We always talk about that, right? You don't have to be a star. You don't have to have 1 million to be on my show. But tonight, I don't have a star. I got a superstar. Last week, we had Miss LaVisha Davis. She tore it up. Then we also had a couple weeks ago, Miss Latoya Jackson. She tore it up. We had, Mr. Keon Edwards. He flipped it backwards. We had Mr. Courtney Ruffin. He did backflips. But now, I had to bring the cool, the smooth. This brother is so cool. I'm gonna tell you something about him after how I told him I don't think he liked me. I'm gonna tell you why in a little bit. But just before that, while those of you are starting to come in a minute, I'll give a shout out to everybody. But let's play our theme song as we start the show. Let's play our theme song. It says you don't have to be a star to be on my show, but I don't have a star tonight. I got a superstar from the DMV, a superstar. He kind of looked like Les Brown. And also, you know what Les Brown looked like, the motivational speaker? But this guy, I'm loud and obnoxious. This guy's cool, smooth, calm, and collected. Here he comes. But just before he comes, let's play our theme song. You don't have to be a star to be on my show. Song by Miss Maynard Thomas, my baby sister, all the way in Atlanta. Woo! I love you, Maynard.
When we come as you are, with just your heart, and I'll help you win. Are you rejected or hurt? To me, your worth much more than you put in.
I don't need no
Now I don't need no
but I got one tonight.
Cause I'll accept you as you are. You won't be denied, cause I'm satisfied with the help that I can provide. You don't have to be rich family to be on my show. You don't have to have 1 million family to be on my show.
Boom! The song says you don't have to be a star, you don't have to have 1 million to be on my show because we can help anybody. Guys, I am so excited. And because I'm so excited, what I'm about to do is I'm gonna share this live with my business partner so he can be on his page. I'm gonna share it with him right now. People are already starting to share. There's already 7 shares. Oh my gosh, we better do it. Let's put it let me tag him at Tony Brown. Downtown Tony Brown. Where is he? Where is he? Let's find him. Let's find him. Tony L. Brown. I'm gonna say boom for him. Just that's my favorite term. Tony, I just said it on your page. You can go on your page now, and people can see it right now. You can text family members, tell them it's on your page now. Folks, let's give a quick shout out. All right, to see who's watching tonight. Tonight we got oh man, Downtown Tony Brown. Our president is on there, Mr. Anthony Stewart. Man, oh Mr. Stewart, we saw you tonight on your live. Great program today. Good evening, sir. We have Miss Atlin Pittman. Our president is in the DMV area. American Classic Agency, the company that cares. We have Miss Atlin Pittman all the way in St. Martin. We have Miss Esther Duran Kazemi in St. Martin in the Caribbean. Miss Andrea Merchant. Oh, thank you for your service. She's a soldier, folks, in Virginia, Fort Lee, protecting us day and night. Thank you, Miss Lucille Royer, all the way in Florida. Welcome. Barbara Connie Barry, all the way in the Commonwealth of Dominica. We got Miss Delphina LeBlanc, all the way in Canada, Ottawa, Canada. Good to see you this weekend. Miss Peach Goodwill, all the way in, Petersburg, Virginia. Miss Robin Martin in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. Alvin Vassar, all the way in Petersburg, Virginia. Miss Tabitha Green. And there's a lot of other people watching that we can't see. If you don't say hello, we don't know where you are. So tonight, what I want you to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I have a very special guest, and his name is Mr. Tony L. Brown. You see, Mr. Brown is my business partner. He's cool. I'm loud and obnoxious. He's cool and quiet, but he's powerful. He is a certified financial fiduciary. So a fiduciary is someone that has your best interest at heart. He's $1 million round table. $1 million. That means he's the top of the top in my industry. All right. And I love him dearly as a brother and definitely as a colleague. But just before we bring him in, man, I'm going to unmute him. And what I'm going to do is play a song to introduce him on, because I think ain't no stopping us now, Mr. Stewart. This is for you and Mr. Here he comes, here he comes, here he comes. Here he comes, here he comes, here he comes. Oh, Tony Brown, downtown. Woo! We're on the move. All right. All right, let me stop it, because you know on Facebook they're trying to just copyrighted music, man. How you doing, young man?
I'm doing great, Terrence. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Great to see you. I'm so glad I got Tony Brown. I'm so nervous, man. I'm sweating, man. I'm sweating.
Oh man, you don't get nervous.
I'm nervous. Let me wipe down my face. Woo! I got $1 million round table. Woo! I am nervous. Tony, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show. I'm so excited you decided to kick it off for us. This is September, and September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. But just before we start talking about Life Insurance Awareness Month and a little bit about you, this is what we take about 2 to 3 minutes to tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, where you live, if you have a family, where you grew up. You got, 3 minutes. If you take a little longer, it's okay. You VIP. Take as long as you want. But I'm going to give you a solo screen. Tell the folks a little about you, Mr. Brown, so they can get to know you a little bit.
All right. Well, I am from a very little town in North Carolina, part of Scotland, that probably most people have never heard of it.
Never heard of it, and I've lived there.
Village Street. It's like it's no stoplights there or anything like that. So my mother and father moved me here when I was about 8 years old. So I've mostly always been in different places in the DMV. Attended Morgan State University. Did industrial engineering at Morgan State University. So I got out of school, worked as an engineer for a while, got into sales, got into insurance, and about 2004, actually got into the industry by accident. But it's been a long journey, basically going on 20 years now. So really exciting. I've been able to do all kinds of things I never thought I would be able to do. I've been able to, be able to help out, family and friends in different ways, and just having a good time. I like what I do. I like the freedom that our industry brings. I like all the things that we can do to help people, and just being in business for myself, and being able to see a path to success for myself and for others is very liberating. So just very excited to be able to share the knowledge that we have from the financial side, and just being able to always be in a situation to motivate people and help people grow while I'm growing at the same time. It's just really exciting. Glad to be in business with a person like yourself. And I thank you for having this platform to allow us to really express ourselves, let people get to know us, a little bit better. We're not just people just writing up the policies. We're regular people. We got lives just like you. We care about the same things you care about. So it's good to be able to see us grow, and also help others around us grow. And again, thank you for inviting me on your show. You're doing a lot of great things yourself. It's a pleasure to be in business with you. I don't know too many people more pumped up and more motivated than you are, who care more about serving people than you do. So it's just a pleasure. And I thank you for the time this evening.
Wow, man, you're making me feel humble, man. I'm like, wow, he's always saying nice things about me. Makes me feel special, so very special. But you know what, Tony, you know, and that's who you are as well. I've watched you since I came to American Classic Agency, the company that cares. You can see it above my shoulder there. You're always cool. I've never seen you upset. I've never seen you yell. You've always so cool, calm. Everybody knows me. I'm always yelling and screaming and shouting, and man. But I'm passionate. I love what I do. But tonight we had to bring you on the show because you're in the DMV area. You've been in the industry about 20 years. You're doing great things, helping middle American families. But tonight, man, this is a burden on my heart. This is September. I've gotten requests from friends, people, about, life insurance, people dying. This is September. What does September mean to you as a certified financial fiduciary, licensed insurance guy, someone who helps with income protection, debt elimination, legacy creation? We'll go into them one by one. But what does September means to you for Life Insurance Awareness Month? Can you just elaborate for us, sir, please?
It means that we get to take 30 days out to really focus in on the foundation to everything that we do. There's all kinds of financial professionals out here talking about all kinds of things, all kinds of services, all kinds of products. But the foundation of everything is that life insurance policy. It doesn't matter what it is that you think you are going to do. No one knows when the Most High is going to, turn their lights out for good. And when that happens, did you accomplish all those things, financially that you were trying to do? Without you here, what is your family going to do? So it always comes down when we lose somebody. It's always about someone's always asking the question: did they have insurance? Is that family going to be okay? How are we going to take care of a burial? How are children going to go to school? Is someone going to have to move? Is that house going to be paid off? What about those cars they got? What about that wife that was left behind? We think about all of those things. So with all those fantastic things that we're trying to accomplish, if the lights get turned out, you got to have that basic thing in place. But then with what we do here, it's about more than it's also about educating people about more than just that death benefit part, because now we know there's so many living benefits available. We know that we can now educate people on how to use these products to create wealth, to create financial security. You were speaking earlier about the things going on in the market and how your clients can rest their heads easy, because I know they have a lot of money invested in these products, which is growing safely. There's nothing safer than insurance. You talked about getting gains without worrying about losses. You talk about people not having to worry about fees and things like that. So there's a financial side to life insurance that people are not aware of, because it's a place to safely accumulate wealth. It is also a product that can provide benefits where we can access these policies to get money. If we get sick, if you have a stroke or a heart attack, you can go into these things and get $100,000. While you're still living. There's just so many things that people don't know because people only know about the traditional thing. Hey, if I die, somebody got people get money. What's the cheapest way to get it? But no one understands just all the things that we can do with the new types of programs that are out there. So it gives us a chance to really educate people on all the living benefits that we have with this product and stop having this be a morbid conversation and have this be an exciting conversation because there's so many things we could do financially and just especially in the African American community, Latino community, there's a lot of things that we don't know that a lot of other people know. So it gives us a chance to really expand their knowledge base and teach them all the exciting things that you can do with these programs while you're still living.
Wow, it's so funny you said that. I was having a conversation with my cousin in New York City yesterday, and he was kind of talking about that, about gentrification and people being in the know when property, when to buy property in low income areas or in the hood or other places because they know something's coming down the road, so they're in the know. But you know what, Tony? What bothers me and concerns me is that I've been doing this for a long time. I've been in financial services much longer than you, since 1985. And one of the important things about this is this: people don't realize that you just said about living benefits. People get 100 grand, 200 grand, over up to 1.5 million, according to how much they have to protect themselves in case something happens. And one of the things that troubles me as a financial person is that we are educating as much as we can. I think our president today, we had a meeting today, telling us, we gotta help more people. We gotta, and sometimes we have to be more passionate. But this is important to me. This is important to me. We just talked about September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. It's a very important month in our industry, and we need to take up. And it's not about selling anything because it says that we're not selling insurance. We are financial trusted advisors who help you attain what you need. That's what we do. But let me ask you this, Mr. Brown. I sometimes want to say Mr. Les Brown, but you're not. You're better than him because I don't know him. I know you. Tony Brown, check this out. Income protection is key. You know what our mission statement is. You know it. I know it. And it's key. But the important thing is this: how should people be protecting their income? Can you spend a few minutes, telling us how people should be protecting their income, even if nothing is wrong with you, which is the best time? Can you expound on that for us a little bit, sir?
Wow, a number of different ways, and let's start out the the most basic thing that a life insurance program is supposed to do is replace income. So it's not about 10,000 or 20,000 or 50,000 for a burial. Yeah, that's fine. But if you're 45 years old and let's say you're making $75,000 a year, let's say you were planning to work until you were age 65. So let's just say if you never got another raise, you're making 75,000, or your family was expecting you to work for another 20 years, and they were expecting you to bring in about 1.5 million in income, over that time frame. That's 75,000 times 20 years. So if you die and they got, 50,000, 100,000, what have you, well, what about all that other money they were expecting? And are they going to be able to go out and find another you? Is your wife going to have to go out and find another you? Financially, can your children, can they find another you? No, you're never coming back. So you have to make sure at the very least that financially they're taken care of and that they have the amount of money coming in that they expected you to bring to that family over the next 20 years that you were going to work. So just because your life is over, their life doesn't end. So again, the number one thing is income replacement. We have to replace the income of that person who is gone from the family. When I first got started here at American Classic Agency, one of our leaders at the very top, Miss Barbara Cabbage, I remember we would have our Monday night trainings, and she would always talk about a child's world, we would actually have this PowerPoint presentation, and it would talk about what the children know. They know mom, dad, home, and school. So all of a sudden, let's say dad is taken out of the picture. All of a sudden, without dad's income, can mom keep that home? Chances are maybe she can't. Maybe she was a stay-at-home mom. Well, all of a sudden now, maybe she has to get rid of that. She got to leave that house, and now the children have to go to another school. So now their world is totally destroyed. They lost their home. Now they're in a new neighborhood. They're in a different school. Maybe it's not as nice of an area they were in before. So their whole life has changed, and who knows what's going to happen to them and what prospects they have now, all because maybe that dad didn't properly protect his income. So that maybe that 75,000 he was bringing in, all of a sudden that's not coming in, it's never coming, and they couldn't survive it. So that child's that always stuck with me. What it means, to the rest of the family and how it affects futures down the line.
It's so funny you said that because, our mission statement says, we're here to serve as agents of change for families in helping them to protect income, eliminate debt, and create financial legacies. But protecting income, you just gave a great scenario. If someone's making 75 grand and they're longer gone, people take this for granted. I'm going to tell you something, Tony. What bothers me in our communities, and that's why I do Tuesdays with Terrence, because most of my Facebook friends look like me. I have a lot of friends who are Asians, East Indians as well, Caucasians, but they would look like me, and sometimes it hurts me that they don't get it. So income protection. Let me ask you. People talk about, well, I got it on my job, but if you ain't got the job, how can you protect it? It's in September. It's Life Insurance Awareness Month. Can you expand a little bit?
Well, when you're sitting in a home, and I know that when I'm sitting down with that person, 9 times out of 10 they probably have it on their job. Here in the DMV where I live, 65 to 70% of the people here are employed by the federal government. So I know they have the federal employees group life insurance, whether it's going to be, their salary plus 20,000 or 5 times their salary or whatever it is, or they're in corporate America, maybe they're matching their salary with their insurance. But that's what we call group term. You basically have it while you're there. Now, the federal government, they'll let you take a little bit with you. When you leave, you can keep some amount of it, but you won't have 5 times your salary anymore. And if you're in corporate America, chances are when you leave, you're not going to have anything. It's just a form of term insurance that mainly people just have while they're working at their job. But all of a sudden, if you're working and you're carrying, say, 500,000 throughout your working career, and you still got a house, you got cars, you have all these things, but now, what if that job lays you off unexpectedly, or you just retire? Most of the time, people still have a $300,000 or $400,000 mortgage. They still buying cars. They still have all these expensive things. So how are you going to cover these things? So while you're young and while you're healthy, you want to get something that you own and something that's going to be there for the rest of your life. So it doesn't matter what happens with your job. So you want to have something that your family can depend on, whether you're at that job or not.
My special guest is Mr. Tony L. Brown from the DMV. He's a certified financial fiduciary, $1 million round table guy, and he's basically telling you that don't depend on the job. You can remember during COVID, folks, people got downsized, furloughed, laid off, fired, all kind of crap, you know. And the important thing was we're teaching people how to protect their income in these times. And September is I sometimes I look at, I don't know how to say this diplomatically. I'm going to just be H Terrence Bardui. Sometimes I look at people and I wonder, are they thinking? And someone said to me, well, you're in the industry, so you understand it better. Well, that's why we got Mr. Brown here to tell you. Because I've been telling you, and some of you are not listening. I know people personally who do not have it. And they're making every kind of excuse. It's too expensive. It's too this. It's too that. For pennies on the dollar. But they got everything else. Tony, you know, You've been doing this a long time, sir. And it's September. It's Life Insurance Awareness Month. We just talked about income protection. They say in America, and I saw it the other day, our debt is like 33, $34 trillion with a T, not a B, with a T. I don't even know how to count that high, you
Wow.
know? And we're gonna come with that. We're gonna come to that in 1 second. But I just want to give a quick shout out to some of the other people who are watching, and to if Tony's family is watching, I want to welcome you guys. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. My special guest is Mr. Tony Brown. And hello, Felicia. How you doing? And Mary Benjamin, and everybody else who's watching tonight from all over, folks. Let me tell you guys this. Tony is trying to explain to you what I've been saying. You know, some of you say I only bring women, so I brought a superstar man, you know? And the funny thing about it is he's telling you, like I know people with debt. And I talked to people this weekend about debt. And one of the good things that I know is still this. It's still this. Debt is a financial cancer. What are you going to tell the folks, Mr. Brown, about debt? Eliminating debt elimination. What would you talk about debt elimination, sir?
Well, debt, I believe I was saying recently in a show video that I did, debt is the new slavery. It weighs on you. We all have some or have had some, and it just impacts everything that you want to do in your life. And it's like, before you can make any major financial decisions, you always have to think about that person that you owe, that creditor that you owe. And what a lot of people, and so we all have ways of trying to get out of debt, doubling up on payments. And a lot of people have found out about the infinite banking system. That's one way to do things. But what a lot of people don't realize is that using a cash value life insurance policy is an excellent way. Surely you can stack up debts and make extra payments and things like that. And that's what we all do. We maybe stack bills up from the smallest to the biggest, and you pay one off and you use that money to pay towards the next one and pay towards the next one. And you can get out of debt faster. But what's happening is, there's something called opportunity cost. So all that extra money that you're sending to that creditor, that's great for them because they're getting all that extra money. But once that extra $250, $500, $1,000 a month is going out to that creditor, that's missed opportunity for you to have that money growing for you. There's someone called Mr. Interest. He can either work for you or he can work against you. Well, when I got a credit card, Mr. Interest is working against me. When I have a personal loan, Mr. Interest is working against me. When I have a mortgage, Mr. Interest is working against me. But if I have, say, cash value life insurance, whole life, index universal life, any kind of savings, Mr. Interest is working for me. Well, if I'm sending all that money out to all these other people, Mr. Interest doesn't have a chance to compound and make me wealthy. So there's strategies where we can actually use Mr. Interest in our favor. We can finance our own debt through using our policies. And guess what? We can pay that money back to ourselves, back within our policies, pay off debts while still compounding interest as we pay ourselves back. We can still get out of debt, but we haven't experienced the lost opportunities to do things with that money. So we have strategies for that. And obviously you want to sit down with someone, like yourself or other financial professionals we work with here at our agency to learn how can you make Mr. Interest work for you and get out of this slavery. Debt is slavery. Everybody feels it. Everybody's out there in rush hour traffic every freaking morning between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock because of that slavery called debt. Because you got that mortgage. You got those kids that got to go to school. It's on our backs. It's wearing us out. Everybody's mad in traffic. It was hot today. It was so hot. They canceled my son's football practice. So there was somebody out there in traffic whose air conditioning wasn't working because he couldn't get his AC fixed because he's in debt somewhere else. So it's slavery. We got to get it off our backs. So these products during Life Insurance Awareness Month, we can show people how we can use this fantastic thing called life insurance as a way to eliminate debt that we never knew about before. Oh, I can't hear you, brother. You might be muted or just muted on my end.
I'm sorry. I was saying. I apologize. I was saying I muted for a moment because I was a little noise of a car was passing by. But listen, no, I was saying to you that you know sometimes we think I was laughing because I wasn't laughing at anyone. I was laughing because what you were saying is so poignant and true. This weekend I got to see some some friends and family, and we talked about that a little bit. And we talked about you know missed the interest. Is killing some people. Debt is not. Some people may be able to afford their debt, but then they're not taking care of paying themselves. So tonight, Mr. Brown is explaining to you guys in so many ways why you need to be using life insurance to protect your income, to eliminate debt. Tony, I told you the debt's about 22, 20, I mean, 20, 32, 33, $34 trillion in the US. I think student loans is probably like $1 trillion. I don't know how much it is, but it's a lot of money. And Mr. Stewart was doing a show last week and he was talking about the average American family have about $8,000, not in debt, but in credit card debt. That's just credit card, not the car, not the house, not the equity line of credit, not the personal loans, just credit cards. I was just looking at, my credit cards, I got, gosh, one was due yesterday, payment. Another one's due the 10th. Another one's due, the 26th. Another one. And I'm looking at it, I'm saying to myself, but the important thing is, if you're not paying them off every month, you're going to be in problem, in trouble. You're going to look at it like, what's going on? What the hell is going on with me here? So, Tony, we just talked about a little bit about income protection. We talked about debt elimination. What about protecting children? People with children. I know people right now. I know people probably watching people who are my Facebook friends, family and friends. They're pregnant. I sell the big belly, and it ain't because never there's I got a big belly. You see, I got a big belly. It doesn't mean they got a big belly. They're pregnant, and we got to protect the children. My daughter's using infinite banking. So why should families be taking care of the children at an early stage? Do you want to talk about that for a little bit? So why should they be? Can you tell me about it? Any stories you can tell about children that's uninsurable or whatever?
Oh wow, wow, wow. Yeah. We want to start protecting our children as soon as possible. I believe my son, he's 13 now, but I think when he was 3 months old, took out a policy on him for like about 100,000. And I know traditionally, people have taken out the small stuff, Gerber policies and stuff like that. And, I know we got that 10, 15,000 and that's good. That's good. A lot of people are afraid to insure their children because sometimes it's a morbid thing, and they think, well, I don't want to put any insurance on my child. I don't want to think about them dying. I couldn't bear the thought. Why would I put 100 or 200,000 on my child? Well, the first thing is, fortunately, we live in a world where anything can happen at any time, and you're gonna turn on the 6 o'clock news, or I'm sorry, it's 8:30 now. You're gonna watch the 9 o'clock news or 11 o'clock news, and there's someone who lost a child. There's gonna be a shooting somewhere. Someone's gonna lose a child. Those things are heartbreaking. So let me ask this question: if something were to happen to your child, is 3 days of mourning enough? When can you go back to work? I don't know. I don't know if I could do what I do if something happened to my son. I don't know if it would take me a month, if it would take me 6 months. I don't know if it would take me a year. But guess what? If you're making $75,000 and you can't work for 9 months because you can't deal with the grief, it'd be nice to have some financial support to let you miss a time off work. That's first thing.
Reach.
And so then the next thing again, you mentioned children becoming uninsurable.
Yes, sir.
I was talking to one of our agents just today, and she was talking about, what can I do? I have this child who has ADD, and he was just declined by one of the insurance carriers. So if he's 9 or 10 years old now, and he has ADD or ADHD, but it would have been nice if someone would have put a policy on him when he was one. You know,
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks. At 2 weeks we can do a policy. You know, as soon as they have a social, we can do a policy. So we want to be able to protect them early because all kinds of things can happen to our children. But then the next thing, as we're talking about all this accumulation, when you have a child, before long, you start thinking about their education. You start thinking about college. And you got to start thinking about college as soon as they come out of the womb because college is high.
Very high.
College is so expensive. Most of us will not be able to save enough money to pay for 4 years of college, but you can help them out. And with a cash value policy, putting a couple, $100 a month in there, $50 a month, what have you. It'd be nice that if I have something where by the time they're 18, maybe we've accumulated 25,000 or 50,000, in a policy. Will it pay for the whole time they're in college? No. But when I was in school, and I didn't have any money, it'd have been nice if there would have been a policy where I can reach in and grab $1,000 just so I can buy some books, find somewhere to have a place to stay. Sometimes your housing doesn't come through, you got to eat.
Exactly.
And when you're in college, that's a different kind of broke, especially when you're away from home. So if your mom can go in your policy and send you $2,000, it's like $2,000 is like $1 million on a college campus.
Preach, man.
So again, you don't have to have the whole 200,000, but just can I have something? There was guys when I was in college who would have to stay with me because they didn't have a meal plan. Food is like everything in college, so guys will stay. You got to bring them stuff from the cafeteria because they don't have anything. So just imagine again, having 500, having $1,000. Again, you don't have to have 200,000, but every little bit helps. And these policies are an excellent way to grow money safely. People got the 529 plans, but they go up and down with the market. So your money's at risk. You're paying fees for that money to be managed, and then you have to go. There's limitations. Like you have to go to an accredited school. So you can't. So what if your child decides they don't want to go to college? I mean, all the millionaires and billionaires out here, they're dropping out in 9th grade and starting internet companies. So there's no guarantee your child's gonna go to college. They might get out of school and say, I want to be an insurance agent. I want to be a real estate agent. I want to open up a barbershop. I want to open up a beauty parlor. I want to do this. I want to do that. I don't want to work for nobody. Young people now don't want to work for nobody. What if they don't want to go to college just because that's what you did 40 years ago? So all of a sudden now, if your money's sitting at 529, you can't even get it without paying a whole bunch of taxes on it. But if that money's growing inside a life insurance policy, okay, now, Johnny's not going to college, but I can give Johnny maybe $20,000 or help open up that barbershop. So I still have free access to the money because the money doesn't know what it's for. It's just money, and I can get it. And if I'm mad at him because he's not going to college, I don't got to give him nothing. I get it out tax-free and spend it myself if I want to. So it's just I have options, but it's growing safely. I'm not paying any fees of management, and it's safe, and there's guarantees there. So outside of I need to insure their life because if something happens to them, I need the time off work. But also, it's going to give them a tremendous head start. They can always take it over when they get older. But I'm going to give them that base of money to help jumpstart their life. Man, maybe I'll take money out of that policy, let them put $10,000 down payment on a house or something or a car. So there's just so many benefits. And then the living benefits. We have people now. We have young ladies who are 19, 20 years old who get diagnosed with breast cancer. Now yes. They're basically uninsurable with everyone else.
Yes.
We have features with our policies where they can keep on getting more insurance because we have living. There was one guy, he was an agent working with us, and I'm gonna stop and let you talk. This guy, he was a nurse working with us. I can't remember his name. I'm sure Mr. Stewart can remember his name, but he had taken out a policy on his son. Like when he first started working with us, this was years ago. His son was diagnosed with, I think, testicular cancer. And he was able to pull like $30,000. He was like 13 years old. He pulled like $30,000 out of the policy immediately to pay for like all the medical care. He barely even had the policy that long. So the power of those living benefits. But again, I think he had taken out maybe like a $50,000 or $100,000 policy and had access to that money because of the living benefit insurance that we have now. So the stuff we have now is different from what people were used to 40 and 50 years ago. We got some great stuff now. So people need to know this is what's available for children. This is why you got to insure your children.
Let me tell you something. I have 3 kids. Start with my daughter. I'm so proud of her. My sons, and and some parents need to realize is some of y'all may not need to do it on your kids, even when they're in college. And the reason why is because some of them are not responsible. They're not responsible. And one of the things of not being responsible is that you got to make sure that you do it. I want to say welcome to Miss V. How are you doing? Welcome to see you tonight, all the way in Dominica. Finally, Matthew, welcome. And everybody else is watching tonight with Tuesdays with Terrence. My special guest is Mr. Tony L. Brown. I call him Downtown Tony Brown. And he's here telling you why you need to change your mindset. And we talked about income protection, debt elimination. We talked about insurance on your job, kids, legacy. In the Bible, Tony, I go to church.
Mhm.
In Proverbs, it says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Not your son who's playing football, but for your son's children.
Mhm.
What does legacy creation mean to you? You got about 3 to 5 minutes. What does legacy creation mean to you, young man?
You know, sometimes you're in a home and you might be talking to somebody about it could be a senior, and maybe you're talking about a $15,000-$20,000 policy, and maybe it's $150 a month, whatever it is. Maybe they feel like it's a bit too steep, and they're like, oh man, that's I'm gonna calculate, I can just save this every month, and I can, people start doing that kind of thing. The first thing I always say is, you can't outsave an insurance policy. You can't outsave an insurance company. We all want to be able to leave a legacy. And a lot of us, let's face it, most of us are not good savers. We money comes in, it goes out, right away. You can spend your entire life being the worst person with finances that ever lived. But guess what? If you do that one thing right, of taking out a life insurance policy or several policies, and if that one thing you're doing right is paying those premiums, you could have been the worst financial person in the world, but yet you can die and leave people $500,000, $1 million, $2 million, all because you did that one thing right and you insured yourself. You left that legacy for your family. You didn't have to be a financial guru. You didn't have to be a great saver. You could have been a total idiot, but you were smart enough to take out life insurance, and now you're gone, and all of a sudden your family can be set for generations. I
Yes.
tell clients, when I first came to American Classic Agency, we specialized in mortgage protection, and we still do. But mortgage protection was the big ticket item. And when I would sit down with a family, I would talk about how we can create generational wealth. And I said, you know how we can start it? We can start it just by one person having enough insurance to pay off a house when they die. You know what that means? That means that now that person who is coming behind them, maybe it's a son or a daughter, imagine them being 30 years old, moving into that $300,000 home, but it's free and clear, there's no mortgage. Okay, so what does that mean? Now all of a sudden, when they're going to work and in traffic, they don't have that $2,000 mortgage over their head anymore. So we all have that situation where your friend or your buddy or somebody has that investment that it just takes $15,000 to $20,000 to get into, but you don't have it. Why? Because you've been paying that mortgage every month. You barely can pay the mortgage. But now if you don't have a mortgage, now you got that $20,000. Now you can get into that great investment. Now you made this money. Maybe it was real estate. Now you flip something. So now you got more money. So all of a sudden now, time goes on, you move on. Now the house goes to somebody else. All of a sudden now maybe it goes to your children. They're in the same situation. They don't have a mortgage. Now all of a sudden that $2,000 is going into other stuff, other things that are making them money, having Mr. Interest and compounding interest work for them, that business opportunity. All of a sudden now, because that one house was paid off, there's all these people who never had to pay a mortgage. Maybe at some point that house sells, maybe you sell it for $1 million or you rent it out. But the thing is, you can change your entire family's legacy just because one person had enough insurance to pay a house off. So now that 2,000, 3,000, it could always go somewhere else. So just one person. So I always let people know, you want to protect this mortgage because it can change the lives of your entire family just by doing this one thing right. This one thing right. So much power. So many ways we can leave a legacy without having to be an extremely smart investor.
It's funny you said that because our colleague in Minnesota, Mrs. Lena Nehemiah, says, you may have not been born into wealth or money, but you become the first one in your family to start the trend and teach your children. And the children's going to teach your children. I'm going to tell you all something. You can say what you all want about Trump and all those other people. They do the same thing. The Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Kennedys, the Waltons. You need to teach. And some of you are not going to have the money to buy all these stocks and bonds. And you all, some of you are on different. Some of you are buying. Uh, I don't know whether I'm not picking on anyone. I'm making a point. I don't care if you're buying iPhones, sneakers, whatever it is. Like I like skinny popcorn a lot. Am I investing in that? My point is this: redirect those dollars into life insurance that you can access. Because one of the things that nobody wants to bury a child, you know. I told my daughter, she's at Morehouse doing her grad, in I believe it's informatics. That's what she's doing. Cross between health and technology. And she said to me, I said to her, you know what, baby? God forbid if you die. Now, if I die today, your debts, you don't have enough money to pay off your college debts, buy a home and all that stuff. I said, but also if you die, you can take, your beneficiaries can take and eliminate your debt as well. And I said to her, I am so proud. I'm not picking, you folks not proud of your own kids. I said, I'm so proud of you because you're listening to your dad. And not because I'm your dad, you're listening because your dad has the knowledge. There are people out here watching tonight. Some of you have not sat down with someone like Tony or myself. It's September. Some of my Facebook friends, even the ones who don't have life insurance, I'm not mad at you. I just look at you funny in my head. I just don't tell you that because you all are protecting everything: your phones, your cars, your doggone motorcycles, your doggone everything. You guys get insurance on, but you're not protecting your most important asset, which is you and your life. It's one of these things where Mr. Brown, where sometimes it breaks my heart, but then tomorrow I wake up and I say I got to educate more. I got to tell more. And there's some people watching who've done the right things. And I applaud you. We applaud you. I want to say welcome to Miss Sandy Anthony, who's watching tonight, and also Miss Jonas in H-Town, Houston, Texas. I should be coming out there soon to see some clients. We need to get together. The important thing is simply this, Mr. Brown. It's September. It's Life Insurance Awareness Month. And I'm going to say to you, Mr. Brown, I see the numbers. You be writing those $1 million policies. I think everyone has to have at least $1 million. Minimum. Minimum. And it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I'm thinking about, I'm wicked. I'm thinking about if you are not watching Tuesdays with Terrence and you're my Facebook friend, I need to block or delete you. I'm serious. And especially if you don't go watch it on demand, especially when I have Mr. Brown on the show. Because he's telling you, no one's saying your children's going to die. No one's going to say your husband and wife is going to die. What we're saying is, just in case you don't make it home tonight, Jaheim had a song. And the lyric, we're not going to use the lyric. Lyric is, let me make love to you for the last time, baby. That's not it. Just in case you don't make it home tonight, will your family be fine? And you gave a great scenario where you said, I don't know how long. I pray to God that I don't have to bury any of my kids. I pray to God that they bury me. But like you said, I know some people whose parents been dead for 5, 10, 15 years and they're acting like they died yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So what if you couldn't work and you get mental illness from that? Well, how are you going to survive? On the state? On the government? It's incumbent on you to protect your family. So, Mr. Brown, just before you tell people and you're closing, because we got like 6 minutes to go, I see you doing great. I'm actually very proud of you because now you're on Facebook. I see you dropping dimes on Instagram, TikTok. I'm like, next time he's gonna be on Twitter, he's gonna be on Snapchat. So if someone wanted to follow you tonight on TikTok, how would they follow you on TikTok?
It's Tony Brown Sr. on TikTok. And I gotta say, like I said, you really just started seeing me because I was not a big social media person, but one of your guests this month, Mr. Scott Forbes, is a genius. He's been helping me with all my editing, and he's been helping get me out there. So I got to give him a lot of credit. He's actually here. He's been helping me tonight.
Yeah, he's good. He's good, man. He's good.
But it helps us get the message out there. So I'm thankful for Scott, and I'm looking forward to when he gets his opportunity with you as well. He's excited. But a couple of things but a person can so TikTok,
Instagram. What's your handle on Instagram?
Mr. TL Brown on Instagram. I might be not getting it wrong. Then I'm also on LinkedIn and also obviously on Facebook. Like again, I'm just learning. I'm kind of new to all these formats.
Good job.
But it's important. We have to get out here. We have to get the message out. And I've always at least I do know how to post on Facebook. And I've always
doing that.
And you can tell. I've said this on Facebook. Now I'm gonna say it live. A person can tell you they love you until they're blue in the face. Real love is being a beneficiary on a policy and them showing that to you. So for everybody who was watching, if you want to show people you love them, then take out insurance and let them see they're the beneficiaries. If your husband really loves you, you'll see you're a beneficiary on this policy. I've been in homes over the years, and there's always that stubborn man sitting there with his arms crossed talking about,
I ain't doing nothing. I ain't doing
nothing. You're not gonna kill me. You can just throw me in the river. You can bury me in the backyard. You can throw me in a cardboard box. People say ignorant stuff like that. And the thing is, ain't nobody gonna put your dumb butt in a pine box. Ain't nobody gonna bury you in the backyard. It's illegal. They can't do it. Your family's gonna wanna have some dignity. They don't want people laughing at them at your service. They don't want to have to cremate you because you ain't have no money. Families want to have dignity and do things. You want to put a person away a certain way. So they're gonna need some money to do that. Not to mention that wife that she's what's she gonna do without your income, dummy?
Exactly. What did Fred G. said to say? You big old dummy.
Yeah. Real love is life insurance. So if you're a man out there and you're not protecting that woman, she need to leave your butt. A good man is hard to find, but a man who has you as a beneficiary on his policy is a real man.
It's so funny. I mean, I tell it's funny you said I tell my children that I have multiple policies. Two of them is my wife Sandy, and I have three others are my kids. But the important thing is this, God forbid something happened to me today. If they don't want to work for a year or two or three, they can, and their bills will be paid. So I've made sure I've secured these things. And I'm trying to tell you, Tony, is that and tell these people tonight, and you have 2 minutes. I'm going to give you a solo screen to tell the two people tonight. If they don't have life insurance, how can they contact you and we can talk to them about helping them out? Why life insurance is powerful. Talk to us, sir.
All right. Well, I do have a website that is cfsinc.us. So C is in cat, F is in Frank, S is in Sam, inc.us. That's my website. So you can go on there, you can look around, but make sure you book an appointment. I'll get my cell phone number out, 301-938-6121. You can call me directly. So again, 301-938-6121. You can call me, or you can go to my website, cfsinc.us. So those are the two best ways to reach me. So I work, all the time. I try to take some time off here and there. I try not to work on the Sabbath. We're both men who believe in observing the Sabbath. So I try not to work then, but I work pretty much every other day of the week. I answer my phone all the time. So you can reach me. I care about families, and I do whatever it takes to protect you, educate you. You don't have to be my client, but I do promise you will leave more educated. Let me pour my 20 years of experience into you. So you might not become my client now, maybe down the line, or maybe you'll just refer me to someone else.
You know what? And you know what? You all forgot what he said. Go back and watch the show. Hit me up. You don't want to talk to me? I'll give you his number. I'll give you his number. Tonight is about Mr. Tony Brown, Mr. Tony L. Downtown Brown. And, the show is called Tuesdays with Terrence, but Tony Brown is about Tony Brown tonight. In my show, I said, Dominica made me, Boston raised me, the South sustains me. I bring guests on my show because I care about what I do. Some of you think I'm foolish. Oh, man, you bring people on here. No. Some of you think I'm marketing myself. I bring people in my marketing. No. I'm bringing people in who have the same mindset that I have about protecting families. And that's what we do. And some of you who haven't done the right thing, you know what? I talk too much. Call me Mr. Brown. You want to work with me and Mr. Brown? Call me up. We'll do a double appointment with you. We'll do it Zoom. You make it worth our while. We'll go to Timbuktu. We'll go to Hawaii to help you. You know what I'm saying? Those of you out of the country, we cannot help you. But you have family and friends in the United States. For example, there's someone watching right now, a childhood friend I hadn't seen in over 46 years, from Canada. I saw her this weekend in New York, and her family. The funny thing about it was she has gone and rearranged her stuff in Canada because of Tuesdays with Terrence. And she told me, and she's watching tonight, she told me, I'll tell you her name, Delphina LeBlanc. She said to me, if I was in the U.S., you would be my financial guy. Somebody else who's watched, Montex Barron watches all the time in Canada, tells me that. Somebody else in the Caribbean. But the point about it is, for those of you in the continental United States, don't hit up my DMs with GoFundMe's, with family. Don't hit up my DMs with fish fries and bake sales, and we have, somebody has a stroke or whatever. If you live in the continental United States, don't DM me. If you live outside the United States, we can all help because it's a little harder, especially for my native land. But Tony Brown, I want to thank you so much. Tell the people, I mean, you did it already. It's 9:02 and people got to go. And we celebrate you tonight, but there's a lot of people watching tonight, I can tell. Some of you all don't even want to tell me who you are, so I can't even give you a shout out. But for all of you who are watching, especially his family and friends, thank you for supporting the show tonight. Share this live so other people can see how to get in touch with him. If they don't want to talk to him, they'll talk to me. We work together. We're business partners. That's what we do. And what you all don't understand is simply this. We've done it for our families. Those of you know I'm in the Big Apple tonight, and I'm coming back down the road later this week. The point about it is this, right? If I don't make it in the Bronx or the Brooklyn or Queens or Long Island or Manhattan or Connecticut or I don't know, New Jersey Turnpike, all they gotta do is make one call to this place and they'll have a check. Tony, take about a minute and tell the people again as we close. September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. And what challenge or what charge do you want to give our listeners tonight?
I want you to get serious about protecting your family's future. And I want you to not put it off any longer. You're going to watch against 9:02. When you turn on that news at 9 o'clock, 9:30, 11 o'clock, you're going to see somebody who thought they had another day, somebody who thought another week, but they had their last meal today. They spoke to people for the last time today, and now they're gone. So think about that. Start making some changes now. Stop putting off till tomorrow what you can do today. Reach out to you, whatever agent who's been on your back, emailing you, calling you, whatever, reach out to them. They might change your family's life forever. And I just want to take a second, Terrence, I want to thank you for giving me this platform tonight. I want to thank everyone who has supported me throughout my career. I want to thank my wife, Stacy. I want to thank my mom, Sandy Anthony, who's on here, all my aunts and uncles down in North Carolina who are watching. I just like to thank everyone who's always supported me throughout the years. I'd like to thank Mr. Anthony Stewart for giving me the opportunity here at American Classic Agency. I'd like to thank all the wonderful people that I work with. So I can name a whole lot of people, but you're already out of time. So just thank you, Terrence. Thank you for being a wonderful man that you are. I can't believe you've been doing this for like 40 years, man, because I mean, you look like you're 18. So that's amazing. So God has been good to you. So thank you for having this platform for guys like me to get on here and talk about myself and talk about what we do. Thank you, Terrence. You got to unmute yourself, at least so I can hear you.
Thank you. I had muted you because of some traffic. The show
Oh,
is called Tuesdays with Terrence. Some people call me H. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui. Some people call me Little Boy, even from my little village in the Commonwealth of Dominica, Point Michelle. You call me Luca Boy. That's how Delphina calls me. And some of who are watching, some of the other people, they call me Luca Boy. And guess what? Dominica made me. Boston, Massachusetts raised me. Now the South sustains me. But guess what? September is Life Insurance Awareness Month, and we have Mr. Downtown Tony Brown telling you, you want to talk to me? Call me. We'll work together with him. You want to talk to him? Call him. We'll work it. We just want to help you. Don't let September go through without making a decision for your family. And let me tell you, though, for some of you who are watching, who are my friends, if and some of you may not be my friends. Some people may be watching. You can be an undocumented immigrant. We can still protect you. I have clients like that. As long as you paying taxes, you have social security number, we can help you. You're considered a foreign national. And guess what? When we put it where Mr. Brown says, nobody can see it. Not the IRS, not the state, not the government, just you and the insurance company. So, as we play our theme song and we bounce for the night, Tony, stay on the line for a minute, please. We want to tell everybody. I usually don't tell you guys to like and share, but like and share tonight. Mr. Brown did a fabulous job. He is the best. And I want you all to remember you don't have to be a star. Hang on, Tony, to be on my show. You don't have to have a million to be on my show. Here we go. Good night, everybody. Like and share. For some of you all, I'm going to ask you, why aren't you liking and sharing?
Family, come as you are with just your heart, and I'll help you win. Are you rejected or hurt? To me, you're worth much more than you put in.
I don't need no superstars, but I have one tonight.
Now I don't need no superstar, 'cause I'll accept you as you are. You won't be denied, 'cause I'm satisfied with the help that I can provide. You don't have to be rich family to be on my show. You don't have to have a million family to be on my show.
Boom, that was my baby sister. And 3 years ago, October 2020, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. Living benefits is the key, folks. September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. Maybe next month I'll bring her on again to tell her story. Some of you have seen it already, but I might bring her back on again. Next week we'll have Miss Linnea Perkins all the way from Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah, the Ohio players. Yeah, she's coming. And later this month we have Mr. Scott Forbes. And listen, folks, this month you guys cannot afford to miss any show. So like, share, subscribe, and I want to thank everyone: Miss Barbara Connie, Miss Delphina Leblanc, Esther Duran Casimir, Mr. Anthony Stewart, our esteemed president, Andrea Merchant. She's a great and upcoming, entrepreneur in the travel industry. You all need to go. I know this is not Andrea Merchant. I'm trying to get on my show, but I got a bribe her to get on my show. You guys need to go and follow her so she can help you. Miss Lucille Royer, it was great to see you all the way in Florida. Good to see you this weekend, my friend. Peach Goodwill and everybody else, Mary Benjamin and Venus, our esteemed, not cash value queen. She is the ABR queen. Felicia and Tabitha Green and everybody else who watched tonight. Sandy Anthony and everybody else. God bless you. Atlin Pittman from La Puente. V, Violin Matthew, all the way to Bowie Chick, and all the other good people. Sherman John, hope you're back from Paris. Hope you had a good time. Good to see you whenever you're ready to call me. Mr. Roderick Massey Sr., thank you for tuning in tonight, sir. Stacy Jones and everybody else who was on the show that I couldn't see. God bless you. Have a good night. Like and share. We are celebrating Mr. Tony Brown tonight. All right? Roderick said excellent. Good night, everybody. I'm out. Until next week. Well, Miss Lania Perkins, she's coming on. See you then. God bless you. Hasta la vista, babies.